Welcome back, everybody. Today I want to talk about Espeon EX, and the main reason is because pretty much every meta deck has a 30 snipe to the bench, and Espeon's ability is going to directly counter that. Now, before I throw the deck list up, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, like the video, just check even if you think you are, because about 60% of you are not. I would very much appreciate it. Okay, so like I said, Espeon is going to be able to heal 30 damage from anywhere when it's in the active spot. This is fantastic because Alterias are playing Jirachi, Blaziken's playing Heatmore, and Absols are starting to play Baby Absol. I've seen there's just a lot of damaging the bench going around, and having the ability to completely nullify that game plan from your opponent is pretty decent right now. Now, this list got second place at a tournament. Not this list, but this deck idea got second place at a tournament, and I made some changes to it. The tournament list was playing the Baby Sylveon instead of the Baby Espeon. The Baby Sylveon is obviously, it has a much higher damage cap. That Baby Sylveon can do up to 130, I believe. It can swing for quite a bit. But my issue with it was that it requires 2 energy to do so. From all of my play with the deck, 2 energy on a basic Pokemon that's more than likely gonna get knocked out on the next turn just seems too difficult. Like, all of our Pokemon attack for 2 energy, and we sometimes just don't have the capabilities of making that happen. Like, energy attachments are really hard to come by in this deck, so I prefer playing the Baby Espeon. In my mind, both of them function the same. They are both meant to be Oricorio counters. And unless you reveal the Espeon too early against an Oricorio, your opponent's probably going to put enough energy in play that Espeon can knock out Oricorios in one hit. So just, if you're in that matchup, don't reveal it early. Don't let them know you're playing the Baby Espeon and not the Baby Sylveon, because they can just limit their energy to, 2 energy in play at once. And then the Baby Espeon is not really doing a whole lot. But the main deck that's playing Oricorio right now anyways is Magnezone. And Magnezone is probably not going to shy away from just getting a bunch of energy in play. So I think it functions the same, and it allows us to attack for just 1 energy with something in the deck, which feels good. Because, again, the energy attachments are really hard to come by. I also threw in an X-Speed. And what I traded the X-Speed out for was a Licia. From my games, when I was just running the normal list that got second at the tournament, the Licia was literally always just a dead card. Like, we only play 3 Pokemon with 50 HP in here. We play Sylveons. Like, I was not getting any value out of the Licia. I did not feel that it was worth that card slot. If anything is a flex card in here, I would say it's more than likely the X-Speed. Some cards I would consider are, I don't think an EV bag is necessary. An EV bag would allow an Espeon plus an Espeon attack to knock out like a Mega Absol. It would also offer just a bit more healing. But probably the card that seems the most attractive to me is a Guzma. Espeon with a giant cape has 160 HP. Very, very good. But the issue I have run into with the 160 HP is there's a lot of Pokemon that can do just like 140, 150 into the Espeon, and those decks are playing Rocky Helmet. So, if you take a Blaziken with a Rocky Helmet, you are not able to attack into that Blaziken before they attack you, if that ever happens. Or you can't attack into like a Heatmore with a Rocky Helmet, because then the Blaziken's going to come up and knock out your Espeon. So sometimes you just kind of got to wait a turn without attacking. Same with the Hydreigon decks. Hydreigon is going to do 150, and they play Rocky Helmet, so they'll put a Rocky Helmet on whatever's in the active spot, and then your Espeon can't attack into it without getting knocked out the next turn. So Guzma seems like, honestly, the best option besides that X-Speed. The Sabrinas felt great. The Cyruses felt great, obviously. And everything else feels pretty good. I guess also, like, the idea of this deck is Espeon is going to do early damage, maybe. It's gonna heal a lot of what's happening on your board, and you're kind of trying to set up for that 1/1 Altaria line as your end game threat. Espeon will carry the early game. It's just hard to get rid of. And then you're gonna look to pivot into the Mega Altaria at the end of the game as just the guy who can do a bunch of damage. Like when your opponent finally brings up their Mega, you will have your own Mega in the back that has not been touched, or if it has been touched, you've been using Espeon to heal it. And it seems to just work out a bit. Now, the matchups for this deck, because I do want to be, you know, honest with any deck I'm profiling. I think that anything Hydreigon or Absol, Hydreigon especially. But any dark type deck you do kind of struggle against. Espeon just isn't able to... this deck usually isn't able to pull it off against a fast Absol EX, especially if you go first. If you go first and then they get a Mega Absol down and attach to it, and then you're kind of stuck there like scrambling, trying to pull off the Mega Altaria, you know, by like your third turn. Because if you attach to the Espeon's going to get two-shot by the Mega Absol no matter what. And by then, you will have a knocked out Espeon with no energy in play. So it really struggles against a fast Mega Absol. It's really tough. But if they don't get it quickly, then like it can be done. Absolutely. Because again, you're denying any of their bench sniping. And you have Mega Altaria, which Mega Altaria can always do pretty good into the Mega Absol. And it's not like you're not going to force the Mega Absol into the active spot, because again, if they're being slow, then you start using Espeon EX to put down some pressure. Suicune is just not going to be good. This deck never had a chance against Suicune. Like, your best route against Suicune is maybe go one Espeon and just try to heal, like two Espeons and just try to heal off the damage, but ultimately you're just not doing enough damage to them. You have to limit your bench. Mega Altaria, like, without the additional stuff, isn't really gonna take care of it. I don't know. Suicune is just not good. It never was for Espeon, and we've taken out two cards that kind of helped with that by losing both of our EV bags. So that's not gonna be great for you. And then other than that, like, Blaziken is doable. I think Altaria is actually really good for you, because Altaria, their whole deck idea is, you know, ping with Jirachi or stop evolutions with Chingling. You're not going to be blocked by the Chingling that hard. Their Jirachis, you're just going to heal the damage. And then all they're left with really is like Mega Altaria is their attacker. And you could just use Espeon to do damage to the Mega Altaria, and then you have your own Mega Altaria in the back. So Altaria is like a very, very good matchup. This deck takes care of any Indeedee, Jirachi, Mega Altaria builds with ease. Magnezone Oricorio is like not fantastic either. You have no way to one-shot a Magnezone. You have no way to put pressure on the Magnezone, and they have the Oricorios in the front. We do have a game against it later on, and we'll, you know, go over how that went. You do have like Espeon heal to kind of delay the Oricorios from getting into play, but then once the Magnezone comes active, it does get a little bit scary for sure. Well, very scary, honestly. It's just not really the most fun time. The Magnezones are really scary, man. Against decks that can't one-shot the Magnezones, it is a very, very scary card. But at the very least, again, you'll be able to deny the Oricorios from doing anything. But I think if they get double Magnet... Oh my gosh, sorry. I was trying to suppress a yawn, but it failed. If they get double Magnezone online, it's probably just over for you. You just don't have a great way to deal with it. One Magnezone you can deal with, double Magnezone, I don't know how you're gonna do that, man. To be honest, I don't have any clue. What is nice though is that with this baby Espeon as well, if you put a cape on it, it goes up to 120 HP. So nothing in the Magnezone deck is going to be able to one-shot it, as opposed to the baby Sylveon. Baby Sylveon only has 90 HP, so with a giant cape, it'll have 110, and it can get blasted by a Magnezone. Oh, the double cape is, I'm pretty sure I already said it, but yeah, the double cape is like very, very important. And one thing you can do as well, because, you know, I was talking about the Guzma, but one thing you can do is you can just ignore the Rocky Helmet by not attacking with Espeon, and then waiting for the Mega Blaziken to come into the active spot and swing on you. And then you are still forcing your opponent's Mega Blaziken to two-shot your Espeon, which is good. Like, that's what you want. You want them to be forced to two-shot the Espeon, because Espeon will go down to 20 HP, it'll heal 30, and then there's no way for it to for it to knock out it's not going to get knocked out by the burn damage or like Rocky Helmet plus burn damage, as long as you don't stay burned, which, you know, is sort of tough, but just don't stay burned, I guess. Because what, you'll go up to 50, you'll take 20 from Rocky Helmet and then 20 more from burn. No, you'll even live that. So yeah, you just take the turn off. Like, if your opponent has Mega Blaziken, don't attack into the Rocky Helmet, don't give them the Espeon. And what you're ultimately trying to get out of that is just an extra energy attachment down, because like I said, the energy attachments are so important. And a lot of the Blaziken list are not playing Lily. Like, I think we have a game against Mega Blaziken right here, and I'll just go through my thought process. Or they're just playing one Lily, and you can just kind of hope to avoid it. Oh, but here we are against Mega Blaziken. They start Mega Blaziken, or they start Torchic, so they're going to evolve into Mega Blaziken, which is good because we started Swablu. We're probably not going to get into an Espeon. I mean, it's really awkward when you start Swablu, right? Unless you start Swablu plus X speed, it's pretty awkward, or can find the X speed. But at the moment, it's a little bit strange. I am going to Peck with the Swablu. I guess this is a good time to say this as well, just in general. I think I am more partial to the Peck Swablu than I have been, because other Mega Altaria variants, they play like Rocky Helmet. And so I think if you end up starting Swablu and you're playing against a Chingling deck, which a lot of decks play Chingling, it's like not a bad thing to be able to hit for 20 and put a Rocky Helmet on the Swablu. I feel like that's maybe more utility than the Sing Swablu. Like, Sing is just, I mean, it's kind of a Hail Mary, but I think I'm more partial to the 20 poke now at this point. So I use Sylveon, and I don't have an Espeon. He has Mega Blaziken. I have two decisions here. Either I retreat into Sylveon to try to give myself some more time, or I just swing with the Mega Altaria. And what I'm thinking is, all right, some Mega Blaziken variants play Double Cyrus. Some of them play, or Double Cyrus and no Lily. Some of them play Double Cyrus and a Lily. Some of them play one Cyrus, one Lily. Some of them play one Cyrus, no Lily. So, like, in my mind, I'm like, it's probably more likely that he has a Cyrus and not a Lily, because if I retreat Mega Altaria and he just goes Cyrus on it, I'm feeling awful. And I end up making the right call. My opponent does not have a Lily in his hand, and he just concedes because I am able to two-shot it with Mega Altaria. But that was a calculated decision, for sure. If my opponent had Lily there, I'd probably just lose the game on the spot. But sometimes you have to know what do the meta decks play, and you know, base your plays on that. Just take a chance on it, man. It's really all you can do. Here we are against a Hydreigon deck. We're not playing Chingling, man. We're playing no way to stop this Hydreigon from coming out, except, like, the only thing we can really do that this deck is pretty good at is playing the hand down so that your opponent no longer has access to Copycat. Copycat does not become a supporter that they can use. And we got perfect cards off our Pokeball. We want the Swablu, obviously. We're going to need someone big to do it. But the rest of the hand is pretty bad. And I do see the Absol come down. Again, I'm not really concerned about the Absol at all. I don't care much about him. And here's my opponent going for the Rocky Helmet on the Dino to make things a little bit awkward. So I think what I'm going to do here is I've only taken 20. I'm probably just going to try to slow this down a bit, heal up the Espeon, attach to it, and throw a giant cape on it. 'Cause it's not like I have the Mega Altaria in hand. So that doesn't even feel like a game plan I can commit to right now. So it's just going to be power up Espeon and hope that we can do get some early damage down, take some early points. This Dino is unfortunately going to hit us for 40, which even after a Psychic Healing, well, even with the Rocky Helmet, it wouldn't matter. Like, I would still go down to a Hydreigon attack no matter what. And we get Cyrus. So we have hit, like, all of our useless cards at the moment. Like, those are the two supporters we don't want. No Sylveons, no nothing. So this is like this is a bad situation for me. I'm debating, the debate here is either I attach to Espeon and attack, or I attach to something like the Swablu on the bench and just hope I can find Mega Altaria. But what I'm going for is, my opponent could have played this very smart and gone Dino, attack, and then said, all right, now he'll be in range of Hydreigon, so I will evolve the bench one into Hydreigon. And then I'll be able to get a knockout. If my opponent does that, I'm in a very bad situation. But what I ultimately say is like, well, maybe he just doesn't have it, and I can power up the Espeon and just start to rush down this guy. I have the Sabrina in hand, so I'll be able to Sabrina the Dino on that next turn and knock out both of them. But he does put down the Baby Absol as well. But he doesn't find his second Rocky Helmet. So Sabrina's no longer going to be an option. And honestly, I don't care about healing the damage from the Swablu, because, like, what is my opponent going to do? My opponent can bring up the Hydreigon, and if he gets it, bring up the Hydreigon and attack with that, whatever. But if he brings up the Baby Absol to ping another 30 down on it, if I don't even evolve it, then he just loses the game on the spot. So I just want to heal the Espeon, make sure it can live a Hydreigon attack. And I'm going to swing into this Absol and evolve in a Mega Altaria. Which was nice to grab as well, because what I'll probably do next turn is, if there's a Hydreigon, is heal the Mega Altaria up to full and just leave Espeon at 10 HP, because at that point it doesn't matter. Unless, of course, there's a... what is it? But my opponent just concedes. I had the game anyways. He would have needed so much there to not lose that game. But that was just off the power of, like, Espeon going turbo. But it could have been very different. If my opponent had... I think what really helped was the fact that we were able to play our hand down so much that my opponent probably had Copycat in hand and just wasn't able to use it. Now here, I'm going to go for an absolutely nuclear turn one, right? I've got the X speed, I've got the full bench, so I'm like, you know what, dude? Let's just, before I get item locked, let's just try to go fishing a little bit. Try to grab maybe a Pokeball to thin off of this. I don't really, like, I don't mind doing this at all. And then I'm going to X speed. And this is where I probably should have slowed down a bit. I probably should have X speeded into the EV that can bite. So that way I can just get a free knockout on this Chingling next turn. Because evolving into the Espeon, like, does not matter this turn at all. It really doesn't matter. There's no reason for it. I'm not expecting to get red carded. If he copycats, he's gonna, like, get no cards. But he copycats me for one. And at this point, I'm like, dude, no way, man. I could have just won the game on the spot. This would have been over in an instant. So against those baby Pokemon, please keep in mind that your EVs can bite the babies and get a free knockout. So now my opponent's going to item lock me with nothing in play. I could have won the game, maybe. If my opponent still had to go for Copycat, he would have had 2 cards instead of 1. So I guess there's a world where the me playing down to 1 card prevented him from benching anything, and he might have just benched something the next turn. Like, now he gets a Pokeball off the top of his deck. I don't know how it all works, but, like, there's a chance that either way my opponent would have found a basic, whether because I had 2 cards instead of just 1. And I didn't play the research there because I'm thinking, well, if he has another Copycat, I'd rather him Copycat for 2 instead of 3 and get more of an advantage, or get himself back into this game a little bit more. And now here is a misplay for me. I assumed I was under item lock still, so I researched before playing Pokeball, and then I got my 5th basic, so I got punished by that. And now I'm just staring at a Oricorio, which isn't great, because I can't use any more Sylveons. I'm just waiting for my Espeon off the top of the deck. Now, the Espeon can delay my opponent for quite some time. He's only going to be doing net 20 damage a turn into this Espeon, which is, like, not the worst thing in the world for me. I don't need to worry about playing my hand down anymore for the most part, because my opponent is now out of Copycats. I am at this point realizing that, yeah, this is most likely Oricorio Magnezone, and they play the 1 copy of Chingling. So I know that I will want to try to keep my hand around 3 cards, because they usually do play a red card. And I'm not interested in... like, I'm looking for my Espeon, man, and I don't want to get set back off of that and just, like, go from a 5-card hand with 3 cards left in deck to a 3-card hand and still no sign of Espeon. And now he gets the Magnezone down, so it's getting, like, extra scary at this point. I mean, we're getting frightened. I'm not gonna, like, rip the Sabrina just to play it, because that is gonna be a crucial part of my game plan towards the end, right? I'm probably gonna knock out Oricorio, and then either Magnezone or second Oricorio is gonna come up, And I'm going to want that Sabrina to just be able to take the last point, whether it's through an Oricorio or through avoiding a Magnezone. I'm going to need that guy to go away. Uses a cape on that. I'm fine with that. Like, at this point, man, my baby Espeon, when I get it out, my opponent has so much energy in play that something's going to get knocked out. And we're down to 2 cards in deck, man. 2 cards in deck. And this is really the do or die turn, because I think it's fairly likely my opponent just goes into Magnezone here pretty soon. Or he might just keep trying to stall with the Oricorio. But I'm running out of time to get this Espeon in play. I'm definitely, we're on a pretty big timer right now. And he evolves into the Magnezone. He just goes for the zap with Oricorio, so that feels good. I think if anything, if my opponent had, hold on, let me count the energy here. If he had retreated 1, he would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, baby Espeon would not be able to knock it out. But I do top deck the baby Espeon. So it might have been better for him to just go aggressive with Magnezone here. Let the Oricorios carry at the end of the game. We might have been able to deal with that. I don't know. I haven't done the math in my head. But now I get to Energy Crush with Espeon, and I'm going to live the Magnezone attack, which is like the best part of it. This Magnezone cannot one-shot my Espeon. So either he sends up this Magnezone to take a lot of damage, you know, like set up the 2-shot for me, or he sends up the Oricorio. And both I am fine with, because again, like the Sabrina is my win condition at the end of the game. If there's just an Oricorio left and my baby Espeon has gone down, it's fine because I have Cyrus to like get the damage Magnezone if he retreats it. I have Sabrina to then knock out this Chingling, or Magnemite if a Magnemite comes down. I will be okay. This game honestly probably has 2 more turns left before it's decided. But there's the red card I was talking about. I didn't have any ability to play down any more cards in my hand. I do get the Sabrina off. That's great, because that's the only card I'm looking for at the moment. And he's just going to zap my Espeon for 50. I could play the Pokeball, thin it out of the deck. I doubt he's playing a Mars as well. Just throw down the energy on the Sylveon. And then we get Energy Crush for more than enough to knock out this Oricorio. And at this point, I mean, I don't see how my opponent has any answer. I have both a basic in hand and Sabrina. So even if he benches some sort of Lightning type EX, which, I mean, I don't know that there's any basic Lightning type EX with more than 130 HP. And there we go. He just attacks with Magnezone, so I'm able to push whoever I want and Sabrina that Chingling and win the game right there. But that game got, like, very out of hand. I mean, props to my opponent for managing to stay in it, because that game maybe should have been over immediately. And from a copycat to 1 to, like, actually building up a board state, man, ridiculous. That game got so far out of hand for me, and I had to just try my absolute best to win. Baby Espeon on the bottom 2 cards of the deck as well. Like, how unlucky. Okay, so to wrap up here, where would I honestly place this deck? I think this deck is not even B tier. If you watch my last tier list video, I think it's more like a counter deck. This deck very specifically wants to see Mega Altaria and then maybe Blaziken, but the other guys can really give it a hard time. So I don't think it's B tier. I don't think it's A tier. I think it's like a C tier deck, to be honest. But I guess, hey, something fun for you to play. I don't know. I mean, what else am I going to do? Cover the same decks over and over and over? No, we got to cover everything, bro. We got to cover everything. You got to know whether these decks are real or not, especially when they get second place at a tournament. You know, do I think it's amazing? I don't. I think it's a C tier deck for sure. I think it has a lot of weaknesses, and all of the Mega Absol around makes this deck really quite tough. So that's going to be it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.